Season 6 of Young Sheldon shows that Jim Parsons' narration is not necessary. Hello everyone, my name is Alana. Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And give this video a like. Up. Although Jim Parsons was initially required by Young Sheldon to narrate the spin-off, The Big Bang Theory star's participation is no longer required, and might even be detrimental to the prequel. Although Young Sheldon is a spin-off of The Big Bang Theory, the tone of the two programs is significantly different. With a laugh track and a conventional multi-camera arrangement, The Big Bang Theory is an absurd, extravagant hangout sitcom. The characters on The Big Bang Theory are broadly portrayed archetypes that rarely encounter realistic, poignant events and frequently live through fantastical plots. On the other hand, Young Sheldon is a family sitcom with a single camera that focuses on nostalgia and coming of age. Young Sheldon's stories have less ridiculous, over-the-top humor and more emotional stakes because they don't have a laugh track. Young Sheldon still has a lot of silliness, but the show has a strong emotional plotline in most of its episodes. While The Big Bang Theory only had depressing situations like Georgie and Sheldon fighting once or twice a season. As Young Sheldon developed a more distinctive tone, and The Big Bang Theory spin-off's 6th season is its most intense to date, the tonal contrast between the two programs has grown over time. Young Sheldon Season 6 is jam-packed with dramatic tales, such as Mary's banishment from the church, Mandy's pregnancy, George Sr.'s adultery and imminent death, or Sheldon's betrayal by his coworker. Compared to its previous, lighter seasons, The Big Bang Theory spin-off stories have grown darker, and thus, the more than previously, Sheldon's adult self's humorous narration seems out of place. Ian Armitage gave the spin-off Sheldon a distinct personality, and anecdotes, such as Dr. Linkletter betraying Sheldon after dating Meemaw, provide a stronger defense of the Big Bang Theory character's shortcomings than his own narrative. The spin-off does not have the same tone as The Big Bang Theory because Young Sheldon is a more dramatic, less extravagant series. The narration by Jim Parsons is from Sheldon's mature self, a funnier, more exaggerated persona whose aloof insights seem odd in a series that deals with teen pregnancy, adultery, backstabbing, unemployment, and even death. Many of Sheldon's odd character traits can be explained by the stories in Young Sheldon Season 6, but this isn't made much easier by his mature self narrating the spin-off. Rather, narratives such as Meemaw's bond with Linkletter naturally illustrate how Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory found it difficult to trust Amy. By appearing in early episodes, Jim Parsons created a link between the two iterations of the title character and provided Young Sheldon with much-needed legitimacy as a spin-off of The Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory star played a crucial role in Young Sheldon's formative years. This is why the program used his narration for plots that didn't necessarily require further explanation. The necessity for an adult Sheldon to narrate The Big Bang Theory's spin-off, however, becomes less essential and more of a distraction as Young Sheldon's tone gets more in Young Sheldon Season 6 that she was aware of her mother's relationship with Pastor Rob foreshadowed her Big Bang Theory story, since it may have contributed to Mary's eventual distaste for her daughter. Sheldon didn't have to use voiceover to clarify this relationship. Given that the adult characters in Season 6, Young Sheldon's narration becomes less and less meaningful, rarely providing helpful asides that further the main plot. Related, Young Sheldon just verified a significant Meemaw turning point in Season 6. A heated fight over who would attend Mandy's baby shower followed Sheldon's explanation of his favored celebrations in Young Sheldon Season 6, Episode 12, A Baby Shower and a Testosterone-Rich Banter. The spin-off might make use of Parsons' narration if Young Sheldon adopted the sitcom nostalgia that many shows of a similar nature are currently embracing. Each episode's plot is introduced by the Goldbergs' older hero, However, when the following scene centered on Mandy acknowledging that her estranged parents probably wouldn't attend her baby shower, even if they were invited, Sheldon's humorous remarks felt tonally discordant. However, there is no indication that Young Sheldon Season 6 will remove Parsons' narration from the spinoff anytime soon due to this tonal issue. In the end, Young believes that Jim Parsons' portrayal of Sheldon is rightfully regarded as sitcom royalty. Despite the occasionally startling tone, Sheldon is unlikely to stop his involvement very soon. Although the tactic is rarely used in Young Sheldon Season 6 to address significant plot points, such as Georgie's eventual resentment of Sheldon, this does not imply that the spinoff will remove the Big Bang Theory star's narration from Young Sheldon's formula. Young Sheldon Season 6 proves the show doesn't need Jim Parsons' narration. Here's why. If you're a fan of Young Sheldon, you probably know that Jim Parsons, who plays Sheldon Cooper on The Big Bang Theory, has been providing the voiceover narration throughout the show's run. His familiar, quirky voice has guided us through the childhood of the character we've come to know and love. But as we dive into Season 6, something has changed, something significant. Could it be that Young Sheldon has reached a turning point where it no longer needs Jim Parsons' narration to succeed? You won't believe the game-changing impact this has had on the show. Season 6 of Young Sheldon has taken a bold step forward in evolving its storytelling format. What was once essential for establishing the tone, structure, and pacing of the show now feels almost unnecessary. Let's explore why this season proves that Young Sheldon doesn't need Jim Parsons' narration anymore. And in fact, the show might actually be better off without it. 1. Sheldon's character development has evolved. From the very first episode of Young Sheldon, Jim Parsons' narration was a vital tool to give insight into the thoughts and quirky personality of the younger Sheldon Cooper. However, as the character has matured through the seasons, Sheldon's unique traits are more easily conveyed through his actions and interactions with others. In Season 6, we see Sheldon not just as an eccentric child, but as a more complex young adult. His growth and emotional development are clearer than ever, so the need for Parsons' voice to guide us through his thoughts becomes less essential. The character of Sheldon is now speaking for himself through his own behaviors, and it's all the more powerful for it. 2. The show has found its own voice. One of the standout aspects of Season 6 is how Young Sheldon has really come into its own. In earlier seasons, the reliance on Parsons' narration gave the show a sense of consistency with The Big Bang Theory, tying the two shows together. But this season, the writers have taken risks, introducing new storylines, expanding the scope of the Cooper family's dynamics, and delving deeper into other characters' perspectives. The focus is shifting, and the show has found its own rhythm without needing to lean on a voiceover to tell the story. The charm and wit of Young Sheldon are now communicated directly through the characters, making the need for Parsons' narration feel like a crutch that's been discarded. 3. The other characters are getting their time. Things about Young Sheldon Season 6 is that it feels like the show is finally giving more space to the other characters. While Sheldon's journey is still central, we're getting deeper insights into the lives of characters like Mary, George, Missy, and even Mima. The narrative structure no longer needs to be tethered to Sheldon's perspective alone. The family's dynamics are rich enough now that the show can stand on its own, even without Parsons' narration. In fact, we get to see more of the supporting characters' development as they are allowed to breathe without the constant oversight of Sheldon's voice guiding our every move. 4. The show feels more grounded without the narration. There's something incredibly refreshing about the way Season 6 has embraced a more grounded, naturalistic storytelling approach. Without the need to constantly hear Jim Parsons' voiceover, the show allows viewers to experience the emotional beats more authentically. Whether it's the tension between Mary and George, or Sheldon navigating his relationships with friends and family, the moments feel more real and less explained. The show no longer needs to tell us what we should be feeling because it's letting us experience the emotions alongside the characters. 5. The writing and acting have stepped up their game. Let's face it, young Sheldon isn't just about Jim Parsons anymore. While his contribution to the show's early seasons can't be denied, the writing and acting have become the backbone of the show's success. In Season 6, the actors have truly settled into their roles, with Ian Armitage's portrayal of Sheldon maturing alongside the character. The supporting cast, including Zoe Perry, Mary, Lance Barber, George Sr., and Montana Jordan, George Jr., have all been given more space to shine. The writing has also become sharper, delivering humor and emotional depth that doesn't rely on Parsons' narration to carry the weight. 6. It's a bold step toward independence from the Big Bang Theory. Let's be real for a moment. Young Sheldon has always had the looming shadow of the Big Bang Theory hanging over it. While the show has undoubtedly carved its own niche, there's no denying that Parsons' narration kept reminding us of the connection between the two. But Season 6 is a clear sign that young Sheldon is ready to stand on its own 2 feet. The show doesn't need the voice of an adult Sheldon anymore to validate its existence. This is a new chapter for the show, one where it can move away from the shadow of its predecessor and tell its own stories in a unique and refreshing way. 7. Fans are loving the change. Season 6 has sparked some seriously positive reactions from fans who feel that the show is thriving without Parsons' narration. Many viewers have taken to social media to express how they appreciate the shift in focus and tone, with some even suggesting that the show has reached new heights because of it. The change feels like a natural evolution, and fans are embracing it wholeheartedly. It's clear that young Sheldon is more than capable of holding its own without relying on a narrator to do the heavy lifting. 8. The focus is now on the heart of the story. At its core, young Sheldon has always been about family, growth, and the ups and downs of growing up. With Season 6, the show has shifted its focus away from constant exposition and toward the heart of the story, the emotional relationships between the characters. The chemistry between the family members, particularly the moments between Sheldon and his parents, has never felt more authentic. Without the narration, the show allows these relationships to shine through in a way that feels more organic and true to life. 9. Less is more. While it's easy to take Jim Parsons' voiceover for granted, Season 6 proves that sometimes less is more. Without the narration constantly guiding our perspective, we're forced to pay more attention to the details. The subtle gestures, the underlying tensions, and the small victories all become more meaningful because we're not being told how to interpret them. The show's ability to allow us to interpret the moments on our own adds an extra layer of depth that was previously missing. 10. The future of young Sheldon looks bright. With Season 6 proving that the show doesn't need Jim Parsons' narration to thrive, the future of young Sheldon looks incredibly promising. The show has found its footing, and it's no longer held back by its connection to the Big Bang Theory. The writers and actors have successfully evolved the show into something fresh and exciting, proving that young Sheldon is ready to carve out its own legacy. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.